I'm Scarlett, your host for today's episode. If you're new here, we upload videos every day to help you improve your English skills step by step. Today's episode is all about improving your listening and writing skills by exploring real-life stories. We'll focus on a very useful topic for students: tips on time management. By listening carefully to these stories, you will not only understand advanced English, but also learn how to organize your time better. If you like what you hear, don't forget to press the like button to support the channel. Before we dive in, let me ask you a few questions. How do you manage your study time? Do you ever feel like there are not enough hours in the day? Have you tried making a schedule but found it hard to follow? Think about these as you listen, because today's stories might give you some new ideas. Let me tell you about my friend Daniel. Daniel is a university student who used to struggle a lot with deadlines. He always waited until the last minute to start his assignments. One day, Daniel missed an important project deadline, and that was a wake-up call. He realized that if he wanted to succeed, he needed a new plan. Daniel started by breaking his big tasks into smaller pieces. For example, if he had a research paper due in 2 weeks, he would set a goal to finish the introduction by day 3, then the main sections by day 7, and leave the last few days for revision. This simple step made his workload feel less overwhelming. Another important tip Daniel used was to prioritize his tasks. He made a list every morning and ranked his tasks by importance. Some days, he had to say no to social events or extra activities because his studies came first. This helped him stay focused and reduced stress. Now, I want to share a story about Sarah, a hardworking student who also works part-time. Sarah's biggest challenge was balancing her job and studies. She found that using a calendar app on her phone helped her manage everything smoothly. She would block study hours, work shifts, and even breaks to avoid burning out. Sarah also learned to use the Pomodoro technique. This means she would study for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break and repeat this 4 times before a longer break. This method kept her concentration sharp and made long study sessions more productive. Can you think of ways to apply these tips in your own life? Maybe you can try breaking down your assignments or use a timer to keep your focus. When you listen to stories like Daniel's and Sarah's, you not only hear new vocabulary and natural English expressions, but also get practical advice you can use. Let's try a quick exercise. Imagine you have 3 important tasks today: preparing for a test, writing an essay, and reading a chapter from a book. How would you organize your time? Would you tackle the hardest task first or start with something easier? Try to think in English and maybe even write down your plan. This will improve both your listening and writing skills. Here is another example. My husband, Mark, who is not a student but loves learning, uses a time audit every week. He writes down everything he does for 7 days, from work to leisure. After that, he reviews the list and finds pockets of wasted time, like scrolling on his phone. Then he replaces that time with small learning sessions or exercise. This simple habit has made his days more productive and fulfilling. These stories show us that managing time well is not just about working harder, but working smarter. It is about planning, focusing, and also giving yourself space to rest. Remember, improving your English is a journey, just like mastering time management. Practice listening to real stories, repeat key phrases, and try writing your own versions. This active practice will help you become confident and fluent. Do you have a favorite time management tip? Or a story you want to share? Feel free to comment below or send us a message. We love hearing from the English Pod community. Ready for the next story? Here's one about Alex, who learned to say no politely to extra tasks to protect his study time. Alex used to say yes to everything and ended up exhausted. One day, he talked to his professor and explained his situation honestly. The professor understood and helped Alex prioritize his assignments. This shows that communication and setting boundaries are also important skills. Think about how you can say no respectfully in your own language and try to say it in English next time. This will improve your speaking confidence and help manage your time better. Let's pause here and think. What is the best time management lesson you've learned so far? How can you apply it this week? Now, I want to tell you about Emily. Emily is a student who always felt distracted when studying at home. She tried many times to focus but ended up checking her phone or chatting with friends. One day, Emily decided to create a special study space. She cleared a small desk in her room and removed everything that could distract her. She also put her phone in another room while studying. This simple change helped Emily concentrate much better. Emily also started using a daily to-do list. Every morning, she wrote down what she needed to do and checked tasks off as she finished them. Seeing her progress motivated her to keep going. You can try this too. A to-do list can help you organize your day and give you a sense of achievement. Let's think about another example. Tom is a student who often felt tired because he stayed up late studying. He realized that working when he was very tired made his work slower and less effective. So, Tom decided to change his routine. He began to study earlier in the day when he felt more awake. He also made sure to get enough sleep every night. This helped Tom improve both his energy and his grades. Can you try to find the best time of day when you feel most focused? Maybe you are a morning person like Tom, or maybe you prefer the afternoon. Finding your best time can make studying easier and more effective. Let's do a small activity now. Think about your typical day. When do you feel most tired? When? Do you feel most alert? Write down 2 or 3 times during the day when you think you can study best. This exercise will help you plan better and improve your listening and writing skills at the same time. Here is another story about Michael, who learned to use small breaks to stay refreshed. Michael would study for about 50 minutes, then take a 10-minute break to stretch or walk. This helped him avoid feeling tired or bored. You can try this too. Taking short breaks keeps your mind fresh and ready to learn more. Michael also used reminders on his phone to keep his breaks and study times on schedule. This helped him avoid working too long without rest, which can cause stress. How do you take breaks during your study time? Do you move around or relax in your chair? Try to notice how breaks help you feel better and focus again. Now, I want you to imagine a week where you follow all these tips, breaking big tasks into small parts, using a calendar or to-do list, finding your best study time, and taking regular breaks. How do you think your week would change? Would you feel less stressed? Would you have more time for other things? Try to write a short paragraph about how you would use these tips in your own life. This practice will improve your writing and help you think clearly in English. Next, I will share a story about Laura. Laura sometimes found it hard to start studying because she felt overwhelmed by the amount of work. To solve this, she gave herself a reward system. For example, after studying for 1 hour, she would have a small treat like a cup of tea or 10 minutes on her phone. This motivated her to begin studying and made the process more enjoyable. You can create your own rewards. Maybe it's a short walk, a snack, or a quick chat with a friend. Rewards help your brain connect hard work with something positive, making it easier to keep going. Think about what rewards you can use to encourage yourself. Write a list of 3 small rewards you would enjoy. This will help you practice writing and plan your study sessions better. Let's hear one more story about James, who learned to ask for help when he needed it. At first, James tried to do everything alone and felt very stressed. Then he started talking to his teachers and classmates when he was confused. They gave him advice and helped him stay on track. Remember, asking for help is a smart time management skill. It saves time and prevents frustration. Can you think of someone you can ask for help when studying English? Maybe a teacher, a friend, or a family member. Write a sentence or 2 about who you would ask and what you would ask them. Today, I want to talk more about time management with a story about Robert. Robert is a university student studying engineering. At first, Robert thought he could do everything at once without a plan. He would start his homework late at night and try to finish it in one go. Because of this, he felt tired, stressed, and his grades were not as good as he wanted. One day, Robert decided to change his habits because he realized this way was not working. He started by creating a weekly schedule. Each Sunday evening, he sat down with his calendar and planned his whole week. He included all his classes, study time, work shifts, and even time for Robert also learned that planning breaks was very important. He understood that studying without resting makes people tired quickly. So he decided to study for 45 minutes, then take a 15-minute break. During breaks, he did simple exercises like stretching or walking around the room. These breaks helped him feel refreshed and ready to study more. After a few weeks, Robert noticed big improvements. His energy was higher, and he completed assignments faster and with better quality. His grades improved, and he felt less worried about deadlines. What Robert did teaches us an important lesson. Time management is not about working all the time, but about balancing work and rest. When you plan your time well and include breaks, you can study more effectively. Try to make your own weekly schedule like Robert's. Use different colors or symbols that make sense to you. This will help you see your week clearly and follow your plan. Now let me share a story about Linda. Linda is a student who studies medicine. She is very busy because she has a lot of classes and practical lessons. At first, Linda tried to remember everything in her head. She thought she didn't need a planner or to-do list, but this caused problems. She forgot some important deadlines and felt very stressed. Then, a friend suggested she use a planner book. Linda bought a simple notebook and started writing down all her tasks. Every morning, she looked at her planner and chose the most important tasks for the day. This helped her focus on what she really needed to do. Linda also added small notes about how long she thought each task would take. For example, she wrote, "Read Chapter 5, 1 hour," or "Write essay introduction, 30 minutes." This helped her manage time better because she could see if she had enough time for each task. Linda also learned to avoid multitasking. Before, she tried to study while watching videos or talking on the phone. This made her lose focus and take longer to finish her work. Now, Linda studies in a quiet place with no distractions. She turns off her phone or puts it on silent. This way, she can concentrate better and finish tasks faster. Linda's story shows us that using simple tools like a planner and avoiding distractions can improve time management a lot. If you do not have a planner book, you can use apps on your phone or computer. The important thing is to write down your tasks and check them every day. Let's talk about another student, David. David found it difficult to start his work because he often felt tired after classes. He would tell himself, "I will start after 1 hour," but sometimes that hour turned into 2 or more. David learned about the power of habits. He decided to create a study routine. Every day at the same time, he would sit down at his desk and start studying, even if he did not feel like it. After a few days, studying at that time became a habit, and he didn't need to think about starting anymore. His brain was ready to work because he had trained it with a routine. David also discovered that setting small goals helped him stay motivated. Instead of saying, "I will study all night," he said, "I will study this one chapter now." When he finished that chapter, he gave himself a small reward like a short break or a snack. This way, studying did not feel like a huge task, but a series of small, manageable steps. If you find it hard to start studying, try David's idea. Make a daily study routine at the same time. Start with small goals and reward yourself when you finish. Over time, this will help you build good habits and improve your time management. Now, I want to tell you about a different challenge that Emma faced. Emma is a student who is very social and has many friends. She likes to join clubs and activities outside of school. This is good for her, but sometimes she spent too much time on these activities and not enough on studying. Emma realized she needed to balance her social life and study time better. She made a rule for herself. She decided to spend 3 evenings a week on studying and the other evenings with friends. This way, she could enjoy both without feeling guilty or stressed. Emma also talked to her husband about her schedule. He supported her and helped remind her to take study time seriously. Sometimes, when Emma felt tired or distracted, her husband encouraged her to focus and helped her keep her goals. Emma's story shows that balancing social life and studies is possible if you plan well and have support. Talking about your goals. with family or close friends can help you stay motivated. Think about your own life. Do you spend enough time on studying and on relaxing? Can you make a simple plan like Emma's? Maybe you can ask someone close to you to help remind you about your study goals. Finally, I want to share a story about Jack. Jack is a student who loves to use technology to help him manage time. He uses apps that remind him when to study, when to take breaks, and when to sleep. One app helps him create a study timetable, and another app tracks how long he studies each day. Jack finds these apps very useful because they keep him organized and motivated. He says that seeing his progress every day makes him feel good and pushes him to work harder. Jack also listens to English podcasts, like this one, while walking or during breaks. He believes that listening to real stories helps him improve his English faster. This is a smart way to use time that might otherwise be wasted. Can you think of ways to use technology to help you manage your time? Maybe you can try some apps for planning or reminders. Also, listening to English while doing small tasks can help your language skills. All these stories show that time management is not difficult if you use the right methods. Planning, making routines, balancing work and rest, and using support from others all help make studying easier and more effective. Now, try to write a paragraph about your own time management plan. What will you do to organize your study time better? What habits do you want to build? Writing your plan will help you think clearly and improve your English skills. Let me tell you more about time management through the story of Sarah. Sarah is a college student studying biology. She often felt overwhelmed because she had many assignments, tests, and group projects. Sarah wanted to do well, but did not know how to handle all her work. One day, she decided to try a new approach to her studies. She made a list of everything she needed to do for the week. Then she ranked the tasks by importance. For example, if she had a test coming soon, she put that task at the top of her list. Less urgent tasks, like reading extra chapters, were lower on the list. Sarah found this helped her focus on what mattered most each day. She stopped wasting time on less important work. Sarah also learned to set specific times for studying. Instead of studying when she felt like it, she chose fixed hours every day. For example, she studied biology from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., and then after dinner, she reviewed her notes for an hour. This routine helped her develop discipline. It was easier for her to say no to distractions because she had a clear plan. Sometimes Sarah felt tired or unmotivated. To solve this, she added small rewards to her schedule. For example, after finishing a study session, she would take a short walk outside or enjoy a cup of tea. These small breaks helped her relax and return to studying with fresh energy. Sarah also asked her husband to support her time management. She explained her study plan and asked him to remind her gently if she got distracted. This teamwork helped Sarah stay on track. From Sarah's story, we learn that making a clear list and ranking tasks helps organize busy schedules. Setting fixed study times builds good habits. Small rewards keep motivation high. Asking for support makes the process easier. Next, I want to tell you about Mark. Mark studies history at university. He struggled with procrastination, which means he would delay starting his work. Mark often said, "I will do it later," but later never came soon enough. This caused him to rush at the last minute and feel very stressed. Mark decided to try a method called the Pomodoro technique. This technique means you study for 25 minutes and then take a 5-minute break. After 4 sessions, you take a longer break of 15 or 20 minutes. Mark used a timer on his phone to keep track of the time. He found this method helped him focus because he knew he only had to work for a short time before a break. At first, Mark found it hard to stop working after 25 minutes because he wanted to finish his chapter. But after a while, he learned that breaks made him feel less tired and more. Mark also made sure to plan his study sessions at times when he was most alert. He noticed he was more focused in the morning than in the evening. So, he did his hardest work early in the day and saved easier tasks for the afternoon. This helped him use his energy better. Mark's story shows us that breaking study time into small chunks can increase focus and reduce procrastination. Using a timer is a simple way to manage this. Also, studying during your best hours helps improve efficiency. Think about your day and when you feel most focused. Can you try the Pomodoro technique? Set a timer for 25 minutes and work hard during that time. Then take a short break and repeat. This might help you finish tasks faster and with less stress. Now I want to share a story about Olivia. Olivia is a student who had trouble balancing school and family responsibilities. She has 2 young children and also studies part-time. Sometimes Olivia felt there was not enough time for anything. She was tired and worried about falling behind in her classes. To manage her time better, Olivia made a detailed daily plan. She included not only study time, but also family time and house chores. Olivia realized that planning everything helped her see what she could realistically do each day. Olivia also talked to her husband about her schedule. They decided to share household tasks so Olivia could have more study time. For example, her husband took care of cooking dinner 3 nights a week. This gave Olivia a few extra hours to focus on her assignments. Olivia learned to say no to some social invitations or activities that took too much time. This was not easy, but she knew it was necessary to keep her balance. Olivia's story teaches us that time management is about planning all parts of life, not just study time. Sharing responsibilities with family or others can help create more free time. Sometimes, we need to say no to less important things to focus on what matters. Think about your own life. Are there tasks you can share with others? Can you make a daily plan that includes everything, not just studying? Writing your plan will help you see where your time goes and how to improve. Let's talk about another student named Daniel. Daniel is studying business and wants to improve his time management skills. He found that sometimes he spent too much time on one task and did not finish other important work. Daniel learned to use a timer to limit how long he worked on each task. For example, he gave himself 1 hour to write an essay introduction. When the time was up, he stopped and moved on to the next task. This helped Daniel avoid spending too much time on small parts of his work. Daniel also learned to plan for unexpected things. Sometimes events or emergencies come up and disrupt the best plans. Daniel kept some buffer time in his schedule. This means he left extra time to finish tasks or rest if needed. Having buffer time helped Daniel stay calm and finish his work, even if things did not go exactly as planned. Daniel also practiced reviewing his progress at the end of each day. He looked at what he had completed and what still needed work. This helped him adjust his plan for the next day. Daniel said this small habit helped him improve every day. From Daniel's story, we learn that setting time limits for tasks can prevent spending too much time on one thing. Leaving extra buffer time helps manage unexpected problems. Reviewing. Your progress daily helps keep your plan realistic and flexible. Try to write a short plan with time limits for your tasks and some buffer time. At the end of each day, check what you finished and plan for tomorrow. This will improve your time management and your English writing skills. Next, I want to tell you about Hannah. Hannah is a student who studied English as a second language. At first, she had trouble understanding long listening exercises. To improve, Hannah decided to listen to English stories every day. She started with short stories and then moved to longer ones. Listening to stories helped her learn new vocabulary and understand different accents. Hannah also took notes while listening. She wrote down new words and important points. Later, she used these notes to write short summaries of the stories. This helped her practice writing and improved her memory. Hannah said that listening and writing together made her English skills stronger. She also enjoyed the stories because they were interesting and real. Some stories were about students like her facing challenges and learning new things. You can try this too. Find short English stories or podcasts and listen carefully. Take notes about what you hear. Then write a few sentences about the story. This exercise will help your listening and writing improve at the same time. Finally, I want to tell you about James and Anna. They are married and both study full-time. Managing their time was difficult because they had to share household chores and study for exams. They created a weekly family schedule where they divided tasks. For example, James cooked dinner on Mondays and Wednesdays, and Anna cleaned on Tuesdays and Thursdays. On weekends, they studied together and helped each other with difficult subjects. James and Anna also set goals together. They made a list of what they wanted to achieve each month and encouraged each other. This teamwork helped them stay motivated and manage time well. Their story shows that sharing responsibilities and working as a team makes time management easier. If you study with family members or friends, try making a plan together. Support from others can help you stay on track and improve faster. Think about people in your life who can support you. Can you work with them to manage time better? Writing about your plan will help you organize your thoughts and practice English. Let me now share the story of Thomas, a hard-working university student studying engineering. Thomas always had good intentions. He wanted to study hard, get good grades, help his parents, and have time to relax. But every week, he found himself overwhelmed. Assignments would pile up, and he would often stay awake until late trying to finish everything at the last minute. Thomas knew he needed to change something. One weekend, Thomas decided to sit down and think carefully. He took out a notebook and wrote down all the things he needed to do for the week. He included everything: classes, assignments, study time, family time, and even time to rest. Then he looked at his calendar and found specific time blocks for each task. For example, on Monday, he planned to review his lecture notes from 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Then he would take a 15-minute break, followed by writing his lab report from 4:45 p.m. to 6:15 p.m. He kept doing this for each day of the week. After a few days, Thomas felt more organized. He was less stressed and more confident. He said that just knowing what to do and when to do it helped him feel in control of his time. He also added 30 minutes every evening to quickly review what he studied that day. This small habit helped him remember things better and improved his grades. One important thing Thomas learned was that he needed to protect his study time. If a friend called him during his planned study time, he would politely say, "Can we talk later? I'm studying now." This helped him stay focused and finish his tasks faster. He realized that managing time is not just about having a schedule. It is also about following it and saying no to distractions. Now, let's hear about Emily, a nursing student who also works part-time at a local clinic. Emily's days were very full. She had to attend lectures, do her homework, go to work, and still find time for her husband and home responsibilities. For a while, she tried to do everything without a plan. She would work on homework late at night, fall asleep while studying, and forget small tasks. One day, her teacher gave her a suggestion. The teacher said, "Start using a weekly planner and plan your days ahead. It will help you see where your time goes." Emily listened. She bought a planner and wrote down all her fixed appointments like classes and work shifts. Then soon, Emily noticed a big difference. She was sleeping better, feeling less tired, and performing better in her classes. One important trick she used was to prepare her study space in advance. Every night she would clear her desk and lay out her books and notes for the next day. This simple step saved her time the next morning and made it easier to begin studying. Emily also started using color coding in her planner. She used different colors for study tasks, work shifts, family events, and personal time. This helped her quickly understand her schedule at a glance. Her husband also supported her by helping with dinner and cleaning the house on her busy days. Emily learned that asking for help is not a weakness. It is a smart way to manage time and reduce stress. Let's talk about another student named Richard. Richard is preparing for his final exams in law school. He used to spend hours reading books and taking notes, but felt that his time was not used well. He decided to try a technique called active learning. Instead of reading and copying everything, he started asking himself questions after reading each page. For example, he would ask, "What is the main idea of this section?" Or, "How would I explain this law to someone else?" This method helped him understand faster and remember more. Richard also started using flashcards for quick review. Every day, he would write 5 new questions based on what he learned and review them in the evening. This helped him check his understanding and find weak areas to study more. One day, Richard made a big mistake. He tried to study for 12 hours without any breaks. By the end of the day, he was tired, confused, and forgot most of what he had read. After that, he promised himself to take regular breaks. He used the 50-10 rule. He would study for 50 minutes, and then take a 10-minute break. During breaks, he would stretch, drink water, or walk around the house. This helped his mind stay fresh and focused. Let's now hear from Jessica, a mother of one and a university student studying accounting. She had to balance her child's needs with her classes and studies. Jessica created a home study corner where she could study without distraction. She placed her study desk in a quiet corner of her bedroom, added a small lamp, a clock, and her books. When she sat at this desk, she focused only on her studies. She also made a list of short daily tasks. She broke big tasks into smaller ones. For example, instead of writing finish project, she wrote 1. Read the project instructions. 2. Write an outline. 3. Find 3 sources. 4. Write the first paragraph. This helped her avoid feeling overwhelmed. Checking each small task gave her a sense of progress. Jessica also used reminders on her phone. She set alarms for important tasks, like joining an online class or submitting an assignment. This helped her stay on time and avoid forgetting important things. Now let's meet William. William is studying IT and wants to become a software engineer. He often spent long hours watching tutorials but forgot most of what he learned. So, he changed his method. After each study session, he wrote a short paragraph explaining what he had learned that day in his own words. He kept these paragraphs in a notebook and read them every weekend. Over time, this notebook became a great revision tool before exams. William also practiced teaching. He would call his friend on the phone and explain a topic he had just learned. Teaching helped him understand better and remember for longer. He also noticed that when he had to explain something, he paid more attention during learning. William says this technique made a big difference. He also planned his meals in advance for the week. Every Sunday, he cooked 3 simple dishes and stored them in containers. This saved him time during the week. Instead of cooking every day, he used that time to review his lessons or rest. Let me tell you about Alice, a literature student who used to struggle with reading large books in a short time. Alice found reading difficult and slow, and she often forgot what she read. To improve, Alice started reading with a purpose. Before reading, she asked herself, "What do I want to learn from this chapter?" This helped her focus. She also practiced reading summaries before reading the full chapter. This gave her an idea of what was coming and helped her understand faster. After reading, she would close the book and try to write 3 things she remembered. This helped her practice writing and memory at the same time. Alice set reading goals. For example, she would say, "Today I will read 10 pages before lunch." Setting small, clear goals helped her read more and feel successful. She also made a habit of reading in the morning when her mind was fresh. Let's meet George, a mechanical engineering student who also helps his father with their family business. George had to work at the shop every evening and only had mornings free to study. Instead of complaining about time, he became very strict about how he used his mornings. He followed a morning routine. He woke up at 6 a.m., prayed, exercised for 10 minutes, and then started studying at 6:30 a.m. He studied in blocks of 45 minutes with 10-minute breaks. From 6:30 to 10:30, he finished most of his difficult work. Then he went to university, and in the evening, he helped his father at the shop. George kept a daily study log. He wrote down what he studied, how much time he spent, and what topics he found difficult. At the end of the week, he reviewed his log and planned for the next week. This helped him grow steadily and keep improving. Finally, let me tell you about Claire. Claire is preparing for a scholarship exam. She realized that she needed strong time management to study everything before the exam date. She used a large wall calendar and marked the exam date. Then she counted how many days she had left and divided her topics over those days. Every morning, she looked at her calendar and studied the topic planned for that day. She used a checklist and crossed off each topic when it was completed. This visual progress helped her stay motivated. Claire also made a rule to stop studying after 9 p.m. She believed that sleep was important for memory. She used the last hour of her day to relax, drink water, and prepare her things for the next day. She said that a clear plan, enough sleep, and self-discipline helped her improve faster than before. Now let me share the story of David. David is a law student who always struggled with deadlines. He would start his assignments very late and then rush to finish them. This caused a lot of stress. One day, his professor advised him to try the Pomodoro technique. This method involves working for 25 minutes and then taking a 5-minute break. After 4 sessions, you take a longer break of 15 to 30 minutes. David tried this technique. At first, it was hard to stop after 25 minutes because he felt he was in a good flow. But he realized that taking short breaks actually helped his brain rest. During breaks, he would stretch or drink water. After a week, David noticed he could focus better and get more work done without feeling tired. David also started to write a daily to-do list. Every morning, he listed 3 important tasks to finish. He kept the list simple and realistic. Crossing off these tasks gave him a feeling of achievement. This small habit helped him stop procrastinating. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah is a medical student. Her days are very busy, with lectures, lab work, and studying. She found it difficult to balance all these demands. Sarah decided to keep a journal to track her time. For 1 week, she wrote down what she did every hour. When she reviewed her journal, Sarah was surprised to see that she spent a lot of time on her phone and social media. She realized these activities took more time than she thought. Sarah made a rule to limit social media to 30 minutes a day, mostly after her study sessions. This change gave her more time to study and rest. Sarah also learned to set priorities. She asked herself, what is the most important task today? If she had a big exam, she focused mostly on studying for it. If she had less urgent work, she planned it for later. This helped her avoid feeling overwhelmed. Next, let me share Mark's story. Mark is a business student who works part-time in a store. He often felt tired and did not have enough time for his studies. Mark decided to wake up early and study before work. He set his alarm for 5:30 a.m. and used this quiet time to read textbooks and review notes. At first, waking up early was difficult, but Mark made a rule not to use his phone before studying. He kept his phone in another room to avoid distractions. After a few weeks, Mark felt proud of his new habit. His grades improved, and he had more energy during the day. Mark also planned his weekends carefully. He used Saturdays for rest and family time. Sundays were for studying and preparing for the week ahead. This balance helped him feel less stressed. Now, I want to tell you about Emma. Emma studies psychology and lives with her husband. She found that managing household chores along with studies was hard. Emma and her husband made a plan to share tasks. They divided cooking, cleaning, and shopping so that Emma had more time for her studies. Emma also created a study timetable. She used an app to set reminders for study sessions and deadlines. The app helped her stay on track and avoid forgetting important dates. Emma found that seeing her schedule on her phone made it easier to plan her days. One of Emma's favorite tips was to group similar tasks. For example, she did all her reading for one subject in one session. Then she took notes and summarized. Grouping tasks helped her study faster and remember better. Let me now talk about John. John studies computer science and likes to learn by doing projects. He sometimes lost track of time when working on coding assignments. To fix this, John started setting timers for each task. He gave himself 1 hour to write code, then 30 minutes to test it. John also used a notebook to write down questions or ideas that came to his mind during study. This helped him focus because he did not have to stop his work to remember things. At the end of each day, John reviewed his notes and planned for the next day. John said that small changes like these helped him become more productive. He also said that taking care of his health by eating well and exercising helped his concentration. Next, meet Olivia. Olivia is an art student with many projects and exhibitions. She often felt pressure to finish everything on time. Olivia made a big calendar for her room where she marked all her deadlines and important dates. Olivia also learned to say no. When friends invited her to go out on busy days, she explained that she needed to study. Saying no was difficult at first, but Olivia realized it helped her manage time better. She planned rewards for herself, like going for a walk or having tea after finishing a task. Olivia used color codes on her calendar too. She marked study days, rest days, and social days with different colors. This helped her balance her work and personal life. Now I want to tell you about Jack. Jack studies mathematics and is preparing for a big exam. Jack created a detailed study plan where he divided topics into small parts. Every day, he focused on 1 or 2 parts. Jack also used different study methods. For example, he solved practice problems, made summary cards, and discussed difficult topics with classmates. Using different methods helped him understand better and avoid boredom. Jack made sure to review old topics every week. This repeated review helped him remember better for the exam. He said planning and steady progress were the keys to success. Finally, let me share a story about Lucy. Lucy studies environmental science and cares deeply about her studies. She had a habit of starting many tasks at once but finishing none. Lucy learned to focus on one task at a time. Lucy used a technique called the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, she does it immediately. For longer tasks, she schedules specific time blocks. This simple rule helped her stop procrastinating. Lucy also created a quiet study space with no distractions. She turned off her phone notifications and closed unnecessary tabs on her computer. This helped her focus deeply and finish work faster. Lucy also took care of her mental health. She practiced deep breathing and took short walks when stressed. This helped her stay calm and ready to study. All these stories show that time management is about planning, focus, and balance. Each student found what worked best for them and made small changes. These changes helped them study better, reduce stress, and have time for life outside school. Let me continue with more stories and advice about time management. These examples will help you understand different ways students can organize their time and improve their work habits. All these ideas come from real situations, and you can apply them in your own life. I want to start with the story of Michael. Michael is an engineering student who felt overwhelmed by his many classes and assignments. He noticed that he often wasted time deciding what to do next. To solve this, Michael began planning his week every Sunday evening. He took out a notebook and wrote down all the tasks he needed to complete during the week. He divided them into categories: urgent, important, and less important. Michael used this plan as a guide every day. If a task was urgent, he did it first. For important but not urgent tasks, he scheduled a specific day and time. Less important tasks were done only if he had extra time. This method helped Michael stay organized and avoid last-minute panic. Another helpful tip Michael used was setting realistic goals. Instead of trying to finish everything in one day, he broke big projects into smaller steps. For example, if he had to write a long report, he divided it into research, outlining, writing, and editing. He assigned these steps to different days. This way, he made steady progress and never felt overwhelmed. Now, let me tell you about Anna. Anna studies biology and likes to work with friends. However, she found that group study sessions sometimes took too long and were not productive. To fix this, Anna suggested that her group make a clear plan before meeting. They would decide what topics to study and how long each person would speak. Anna also encouraged her friends to bring questions and focus on problem areas. By preparing in advance and sticking to a schedule, their group sessions became more useful. They covered more material and helped each other better. Anna also developed a habit of reviewing class notes every evening. She believed this small daily review made a big difference during exam time. Instead of cramming, she stayed consistent and built strong knowledge over time. Next, I want to share the story of Peter. Peter is a student who works part-time and studies at the same time. He found it difficult to balance his job and studies. Peter decided to create a weekly schedule. He blocked out time for work, classes, study, and rest. He also included time for meals and exercise. Peter used a calendar app on his phone to set reminders for important deadlines and appointments. This helped him avoid forgetting tasks. He also made a rule to stop working or studying at least 1 hour before bed. This gave him time to relax and sleep well. Peter noticed that sometimes unexpected tasks or events came up. He learned to be flexible and adjust his schedule when needed. This helped him stay calm and keep up with his responsibilities. Another student named Rachel had a different challenge. Rachel is a literature student who often got distracted by her phone and social media. She realized these distractions were hurting her productivity. Rachel decided to create a distraction-free study environment. She chose a quiet place in her house where she studied every day. Before starting, she turned off her phone or put it on airplane mode. She also used an app that blocked social media websites during study time. Rachel found that without distractions, she could concentrate better and finish tasks faster. She said this simple change helped her improve her grades. Now, I want to tell you about James. James studies history and likes to take many notes during lectures. However, he sometimes felt lost when reviewing his notes later. James decided to try a new method called mind mapping. Instead of writing long paragraphs, James drew diagrams with main ideas and connecting points. This visual way helped him understand relationships between concepts. James also used different colors for different topics. This method made his study sessions more interesting and effective. He remembered information more easily and enjoyed reviewing his notes. Next, let me talk about Helen. Helen studies economics and likes to set long-term goals. She created a vision board where she placed pictures and words that represented her goals. This helped her stay motivated. Helen also made monthly checklists to track her progress. She rewarded herself when she completed important tasks. For example, after finishing a difficult paper, she treated herself to a nice meal or a walk in the park. Helen believed that celebrating small successes was important for maintaining motivation. She said this helped her stay positive even during stressful times. Another student named Tom had trouble with procrastination. Tom studies computer engineering and often put off starting assignments. To overcome this, Tom used a timer and the 2-minute rule. If a task took less than 2 minutes, Tom did it immediately. For bigger tasks, he set a timer for 10 or 15 minutes and worked without stopping. He found that starting was the hardest part. After a short work session, he usually continued working longer. Tom also kept a progress journal. Every day he wrote what he accomplished and what he planned next. This helped him see his improvements and stay focused. Now, I want to share the story of Lisa. Lisa studies sociology and is very busy with family responsibilities. She found it hard to find study time during the day. Lisa started waking up an hour earlier than usual. She used this quiet time to read or write. Lisa also asked her husband to help with some household tasks. This teamwork gave her more time to focus on school. She said communication and support from family were very important for managing time. Lisa planned her study sessions carefully. She used weekends for longer study periods and weekdays for short reviews. This balance helped her keep up with her studies without feeling exhausted. Let me tell you about Andrew. Andrew studies physics and loves problem solving. He found that sometimes he spent too long trying to solve one problem and forgot other work. Andrew started using a notebook to list problems by difficulty. He worked on easier problems first to build confidence. For harder problems, he gave himself a time limit. If he could not solve a problem in 20 minutes, he moved on and came back later. This helped Andrew use his study time more efficiently. Andrew also joined a study group. Explaining problems to others helped him understand better. He said teamwork and time management together improved his learning. Another student named Emily studies language and culture. She found that learning new vocabulary was slow. Emily started using flashcards and reviewed them every day for 10 minutes. She grouped words by topic and used apps to practice. Emily also listened to English podcasts during her commute. This helped her improve listening skills without extra time. She said combining small activities throughout the day was effective. Finally, let me tell you about Robert. Robert studies mathematics and likes to plan everything in detail. He used a big whiteboard to write daily tasks and deadlines. Seeing everything in front of him helped him stay on track. Robert also set weekly goals and reviewed his progress every Sunday. If he missed a task, he adjusted his schedule. He said flexibility was important for good time management. Robert made sure to take breaks every hour. During breaks, he stretched or took a short walk. This helped him stay focused and avoid burnout. All these students show different ways to manage time. Some plan carefully, some limit distractions, and some use special techniques. The key is to find what works best for you and keep practicing. Improving time management will help you study better, reduce stress, and have more free time. Try these ideas and see which ones fit your life. Let's talk about some daily habits that can really help students manage their time well. One very important habit is to start the day with a plan. Sarah is a psychology student. Every morning, she spends 5 minutes making a simple list of what she needs to do that day. She writes down her classes, study sessions, and any other important tasks. She numbers them in the order she plans to do them. This helps Sarah focus on one thing at a time and avoid feeling overwhelmed. Sarah also makes sure to include short breaks in her plan. For example, after studying for 45 minutes, she takes a 10-minute break. During breaks, she does simple exercises or stretches. This gives her energy and helps her stay focused when she returns to work. Another habit that can improve time management is avoiding multitasking. James studies business, and he used to think multitasking was helpful. He tried to study while checking his phone or listening to music. But James found that he did not remember much after multitasking. Now, James focuses on one task at a time. When he studies, he puts his phone away and finds a quiet place. This helps him understand and remember information better. Organizing. Your study space is also very helpful. Emma studies chemistry. She keeps her desk clean and only has the materials she needs for studying. When Emma's desk is neat, she feels calm and ready to work. She does not waste time looking for things or getting distracted. Setting deadlines can help you finish tasks on time. For example, Mark studies law. Sometimes he has big assignments with faraway deadlines. Mark breaks these big tasks into smaller parts and sets mini deadlines for each part. This way, he does not wait until the last day to start working. He finishes parts one by one and feels less stressed. Mark also uses a calendar to keep track of deadlines and exams. He checks the calendar every morning to remind himself what he needs to do. Using a calendar or planner is a simple but powerful tool for time management. Another useful tip is to learn to say no. Sometimes students want to do many activities, like clubs, sports, or volunteering. Olivia studies medicine, and she loves helping others. But Olivia learned that she cannot do everything. She decided to focus on her studies and only one or two extracurricular activities. This gave her more time to study and rest. Saying no to some activities is important to keep a good balance. Let me tell you about Daniel. Daniel is a computer science student who used to spend a lot of time on social media. He noticed that social media made him lose focus. Daniel started using an app that limits the time he spends on social media each day. The app blocks social media websites after he reaches his limit. This helped Daniel stay focused and have more time for his studies. Daniel also found that having a fixed bedtime helped him a lot. He goes to bed at the same time every night and wakes up early. This routine gave him more energy and helped him concentrate during the day. Eating healthy food and drinking enough water are simple things that can improve energy and focus. Laura studies biology. She makes sure to eat fruits and vegetables and drinks water while studying. Laura feels that good nutrition helps her avoid feeling tired or sleepy. Exercise is also important. John studies engineering. He takes a 30-minute walk every afternoon. Exercise helps John clear his mind and relax. He says that after walking, he can study more effectively. Sometimes students need help with time management. It is okay to ask for help. For example, Emma found a time management workshop at her university. She learned new skills and met other students with similar challenges. Emma said the workshop helped her change her habits for the better. Talking to family or friends about your schedule can also help. Lisa asked her husband to support her by helping with household tasks during exam weeks. This gave Lisa more time to study and reduced her stress. Setting priorities is very important. Michael, the engineering student I told you about earlier, uses a method called the Eisenhower box. He divides his tasks into 4 groups: urgent and important, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, and not urgent and not important. This helps him decide which tasks to do first and which ones to delay or ignore. Michael checks his priorities every morning and adjusts his plan if needed. This flexible approach helps him stay on track even when unexpected things happen. Now, let me explain why it is good to review your day at the end of each day. Anna, the biology student, spends 5 minutes every night thinking about what she did well and what she can improve. This reflection helps Anna learn from her mistakes. and plan better for the next day. Anna also writes down 3 things she is grateful for. She says this positive habit reduces her stress and makes her feel motivated. Another important tip is to avoid perfectionism. Sometimes students spend too much time trying to make everything perfect. Peter, the student who works part-time, learned that it is better to finish tasks on time than to wait for perfect results. Peter gives himself permission to make mistakes and improve later. This helps him complete more work and reduces stress. Taking care of mental health is also a key part of time management. Rachel studies literature. She practices deep breathing and meditation for 10 minutes each day. This helps Rachel stay calm and focused. She says that when she feels calm, she can use her time more wisely. Now, I want to share how technology can help. Tom, the computer engineering student, uses apps for time tracking. These apps show how much time he spends on different activities. This helps Tom see where his time goes and make changes if needed. Tom also uses a task management app to keep his to-do list. The app sends reminders for deadlines and important tasks. This helps Tom stay organized and reduces forgetfulness. Another helpful tip is to learn how to manage email. Many students get overwhelmed by many emails every day. Helen, the economics student, checks her email only twice a day, once in the morning and once in the afternoon. She deletes unimportant emails and answers important ones quickly. This saves time and reduces distraction. Helen also unsubscribes from newsletters she does not read. This keeps her inbox clean and easier to manage. It is important to have a balance between work and rest. Emily, the language student, makes sure to take 1 day off from studying every week. On her day off, she spends time with family or enjoys hobbies. This rest helps Emily recharge and return to studying with more energy. Robert, the mathematics student, uses the Pomodoro technique. He studies for 25 minutes, then takes a 5-minute break. After 4 cycles, he takes a longer break of 15 or 20 minutes. This method helps Robert avoid burnout and keeps his mind fresh. Some students find that writing a journal helps with time management. Writing about their day, plans, and feelings can give clarity. Lisa uses a journal to track her study, goals, and check her progress. She writes what worked well and what did not. This habit helps Lisa learn and improve every day. Finally, consistency is the key. Practicing good time management every day, even in small ways, leads to big improvements over time. It is normal to have bad days or to make mistakes. The important thing is to keep trying and learning. One very important part of managing time well is learning to plan long-term goals. Anna, a student studying history, decided she wanted to improve her grades by the end of the semester. Instead of just thinking about this goal vaguely, she made a clear plan. She broke the semester into weeks and set small goals for each week. For example, in week 1, she planned to read 2 chapters of her textbook and make notes. In week 2, she planned to review those notes and do practice questions. Anna wrote her plan on paper and put it where she could see it every day. This helped Anna stay focused and feel motivated. Planning long-term goals also helps students avoid last-minute panic. When you have a big test or project, it can be scary to wait until the last day to study or finish. David studies engineering, and he used to do this. He would leave his work until the night before the exam and feel very stressed. Then, he started making a study schedule weeks before exams. He divided the topics into smaller parts and studied a little each day. David found that this approach helped him feel calm and prepared. Sometimes students find it hard to start tasks. This is normal. Mary, who studies psychology, often feels that starting to study is the hardest part. To help herself, Mary uses a simple trick. She sets a timer for 5 minutes and tells herself she will study for just 5 minutes. Often, once she starts, she wants to keep going and studies for much longer. This small step makes starting easier and breaks the feeling of being overwhelmed. Another useful habit is to keep distractions away. James studies business, and he realized his phone was the biggest distraction. When he studies, he puts his phone in another room or turns it off. He also uses a website blocker on his computer to block social media sites. This helps James focus better and use his time more efficiently. Sometimes students have too many tasks and feel confused about what to do first. Sarah uses a simple list to organize her tasks. She writes all the things she needs to do, then marks them as high priority or low priority. Sarah does high priority tasks first because they are more important or have earlier deadlines. Low priority. Tasks can wait until later. This helps Sarah feel less stressed and more in control. Another tip is to learn how to handle interruptions. Interruptions happen to everyone. John studies law, and sometimes his family or friends ask for his attention. While he studies, John talks to his family and explains his study schedule. He asks them to give him quiet time during specific hours. This helps John reduce interruptions and focus better. If an interruption happens, John tries to return to his work quickly without getting distracted for too long. It is important to take care of your physical health. Laura studies medicine, and she noticed that when she does not sleep enough, she cannot focus during the day. Laura tries to get at least 7 hours of sleep every night. She goes to bed at the same time and avoids screens 1 hour before sleeping. This helps her fall asleep faster and wake up refreshed. Eating healthy food and drinking water are also important. Michael, the engineering student, keeps a water bottle on his desk and drinks water regularly. He avoids sugary snacks because they make him feel tired after a short time. Michael eats fruits, nuts, and healthy meals that give him steady energy to study. Exercise can also help your brain work better. Emma studies literature, and she likes to take a walk after studying for a long time. This helps Emma relax and clear her mind. Sometimes she does simple exercises at home like stretching or yoga. Exercise helps reduce stress and keeps the body healthy. Sometimes students have too many tasks and feel stressed. Rachel studies economics, and she uses relaxation techniques to manage stress. She practices deep breathing for 5 minutes when she feels anxious. Rachel also writes in a journal about her feelings and what is making her stressed. Writing helps her understand her emotions and find solutions. Technology can be very useful for time management. Tom, who studies computer science, uses several apps. One app helps him make to-do lists and check off completed tasks. Another app tracks how much time he spends on studying or other activities. This helps Tom see where his time goes and adjust his habits. Tom also sets reminders for deadlines and important events on his phone calendar. He checks the calendar every morning to prepare for the day. This simple step helps Tom avoid forgetting important tasks. Some students find it helpful to study with friends. Olivia studies medicine, and sometimes she studies with her classmates. They meet once a week to discuss difficult topics. Studying with friends helps Olivia understand things better and stay motivated. However, Olivia makes sure that study sessions are focused and not a time for chatting too much. Another important habit is to review your progress regularly. Daniel studies business, and every Sunday he spends 20 minutes reviewing what he did during the week. Daniel asks himself what worked well and what he can improve. He changes his study plan if needed. This helps Daniel learn from mistakes and improve his time management skills. Setting realistic goals is very important. Lisa studies psychology, and she learned that setting goals too high makes her feel frustrated. Instead, Lisa sets small and achievable goals. When she finishes a small goal, she feels good and motivated to keep going. It is also good to reward yourself. James, the law student, rewards himself after finishing a big task. For example, after writing a report, James allows himself to watch a documentary or enjoy a favorite snack. This makes studying more enjoyable and encourages James to. Sometimes students feel tired or lose motivation. It is normal. Sarah studies engineering, and when she feels tired, she takes a short nap for 20 minutes. Naps help Sarah feel refreshed and ready to study again. Other times, Sarah changes her study location to stay motivated. She studies in the library one day and at a cafe the next day. This change of environment helps Sarah avoid boredom. Using the Pomodoro technique can help manage study time well. Michael studies biology and he studies for 25 minutes, then takes a 5-minute break. After 4 cycles, he takes a longer break. This method helps Michael stay focused and avoid burnout. Another useful idea is to keep your study materials ready. Emma studies history, and she organizes her books, notes, and stationery before starting to study. This way, Emma does not waste time looking for things. Planning time for relaxation and fun is also important. John studies law, and he sets aside time every weekend to relax with his family. This balance helps John avoid stress and stay healthy. One thing to remember is that distractions can come from many places. For example, Anna, who studies marketing, realized that sometimes she spends too much time checking messages on her phone. She decided to turn off notifications during study time. She also put her phone in another room. This simple step helped Anna concentrate better. When she focused, she finished her work faster. After that, Anna had more free time to relax and enjoy other activities. Sometimes students think they must study for hours without breaks, but this is not always good. David, an engineering student, learned that studying for too long without breaks made him tired and less focused. David started to use breaks between study sessions. He studies for 45 minutes and then takes a 10-minute break. During the break, he walks around, drinks water, or stretches. These short breaks help David refresh his mind and feel ready to study again. Another good idea is to create a study environment that helps you focus. Mary studies literature, and she found that studying in a quiet place helps her remember information better. She goes to the library or finds a quiet room at home. Mary also keeps her study space clean and organized. When her desk is tidy, she feels more relaxed and can focus on her work. James studies business, and he likes to listen to soft background sounds like nature or white noise when he studies. This helps block out other noises and keeps James calm. You can try different sounds to find what helps you focus. Sometimes it is hard to decide what to study first. Sarah, who studies psychology, uses a priority list every day. She writes all the tasks she has to do. Then she marks the most important, ones with a star. Sarah does these tasks first because they are urgent or have a close deadline. This way, Sarah does not forget important work and does not feel stressed. If you have many tasks, it is helpful to break them into smaller parts. For example, John studies law and has to write a long essay. At first, the essay looks like a big and difficult job. John breaks it into steps. First, he reads about the topic. Then he makes an outline. After that, he writes the introduction, then the body, and finally the conclusion. John works on one part each day. This way, the essay becomes easier to finish. It is also important to keep track of deadlines. Laura studies medicine and she writes all her deadlines on a calendar. She checks the calendar every morning. This helps Laura plan her days and avoid missing deadlines. You can use a paper calendar or an app on your phone. Choose what is easier for you. Healthy habits help you study better. Michael studies computer science, and he found that eating healthy food gives him more energy. He eats fruits, vegetables, and nuts instead of sweets and fast food. Michael also drinks water often during the day. When he is well hydrated, his brain works better. Exercise is good for your body and mind. Emma studies history and she likes to do light exercises like walking or stretching every day. Exercise helps Emma reduce stress and feel more active. You do not need to do hard workouts. Simple movements help a lot. Sometimes students feel tired or bored of studying. Rachel studies economics and she found that changing the study method helps. Instead of only reading books, Rachel watches videos or listens to podcasts about her subject. This makes learning more interesting and helps Rachel remember information better. Technology can be useful if you use it wisely. Tom studies engineering and uses apps to manage his time. One app helps him make a list of tasks and check them when done. Another app blocks distracting websites during study time. Tom also sets reminders for breaks and deadlines. These tools help Tom stay organized and focused. Studying with friends can be helpful too. Olivia studies medicine and she meets with classmates once a week to review notes. Talking about the topics helps Olivia understand better. However, Olivia makes sure study meetings are serious and focused, so they do not waste time chatting. Reviewing. Your progress regularly is very important. Daniel studies business, and he spends time every Sunday to look at what he did during the week. He asks himself what worked well and what did not. Daniel changes his plan if needed. This way, Daniel improves week by week. Setting realistic goals helps keep motivation. Lisa studies psychology, and she learned that small goals are better than big goals. When Lisa finishes a small task, she feels happy and ready to do more. If goals are too big, it can feel hard and disappointing. It is also good to reward yourself. James, the law student, allows himself a small reward after finishing important work. For example, after writing a report, James takes a short walk or eats a favorite snack. Rewards make studying more enjoyable. Sometimes students feel stressed. Sarah studies engineering and she uses deep breathing exercises to calm down. She breathes in slowly for 4 seconds, holds for 4 seconds, then breathes out for 4 seconds. Doing this a few times helps Sarah feel calm and ready to study again. Changing study locations can also help. Sarah sometimes studies in the library and sometimes in a cafe. A new place helps her stay motivated and avoid boredom. Using the Pomodoro technique helps manage study time. Michael studies biology, and he studies for 25 minutes, then takes a 5-minute break. After 4 sessions, he takes a longer break. This method helps Michael stay focused and avoid feeling tired. Having all study materials ready before starting helps save time. Emma studies history, and she organizes books, notes, and pens before studying. This way, Emma does not waste time searching for things during study. It is also important to plan time for relaxation. John studies law, and he sets time every weekend to relax with his family. Relaxing helps John feel less stressed and stay healthy. Good time management is a skill. It takes practice. No one does everything perfectly from the start. Keep trying different methods and see what works for you. It is okay to make mistakes. Learn from them and keep improving. One important thing is to avoid procrastination. Procrastination means putting off work until later. Mark studies computer science, and he used to delay his assignments until the last minute. Because of this, Mark felt very stressed and did not do his best work. Then Mark decided to start tasks as soon as they are given. He breaks big tasks into small steps. For example, when Mark has a project, he writes a plan on the first day. He sets small goals each day to finish the project on time. This method helped Mark feel less stressed and do better work. Planning your day the night before is very helpful. Anna, who studies psychology, writes a to-do list before going to bed. She lists 3 main tasks she wants to finish the next day. When Anna wakes up, she knows what to do. This makes her morning calm and focused. Planning the night before helps Anna start the day with a clear mind. Setting specific times for study is useful too. David, an engineering student, sets a study schedule for each day. For example, he studies math from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., then takes a break. After that, he studies history from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Having fixed times helps David avoid wasting time and keeps his day organized. It is important to say no sometimes. Sarah studies law, and she is very busy. Sometimes friends ask her to go out when she has important work. Sarah learned to say no politely. She tells her friends she has to study but will meet them later. Saying no is not rude. It helps Sarah focus on her goals. Finding your best study time can make a difference. Some people study best in the morning. Others are more focused in the afternoon or evening. James studies business, and he noticed he is most alert after breakfast. So he studies difficult subjects in the morning. In the evening, James reviews notes or does easy tasks. Knowing your best study time helps you work better. Avoid multitasking. Lisa studies medicine, and she tried to study while watching TV. She realized she did not remember anything. Lisa now studies with no distractions. She focuses on one task at a time. This helps Lisa learn better and finish work faster. Use a timer to stay on track. Michael studies economics, and he sets a timer for each study session. When the timer rings, Michael stops and takes a break. The timer helps him avoid studying too long or too short. This simple tool keeps Michael focused. Keep a notebook or journal to write ideas. Emma studies literature, and when she reads, she writes important points in her notebook. Writing helps Emma remember and organize information. You can try this too. Do not be afraid to ask for help. John studies engineering, and sometimes he finds topics difficult. He asks his teacher or classmates for help. Getting help early saves John time and confusion. Try to study different subjects on different days. Rachel studies science, and she studies biology on Mondays and Wednesdays. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, she studies chemistry. Changing subjects helps Rachel stay interested and avoid boredom. Eat small meals during study time. Daniel studies law, and he keeps healthy snacks nearby. Eating small meals helps Daniel keep energy without feeling sleepy. Avoid staying up too late. Sarah studies psychology, and she found that going to bed late makes her tired the next day. Sarah sleeps at least 7 hours every night. Good sleep helps her remember what she studied. Have a good morning routine. Olivia studies business, and she wakes up at the same time every day. She exercises lightly, eats breakfast, and reviews her plan. A good routine helps Olivia start the day with energy. Use colors to organize notes. Mark studies history, and he uses colored pens to highlight important facts. Colors make notes easier to read and remember. Set long-term goals and short-term goals. Anna studies medicine, and she wants to graduate with high grades. Her long-term goal is graduation. Short-term goals are daily or weekly tasks. This helps Anna stay motivated and focused. Practice self-discipline. David studies computer science, and sometimes he feels like stopping early, but he reminds himself of his goals. David practices self-discipline by sticking to his schedule. Stay positive. James studies economics, and when he feels stressed, he tells himself he can do it. Positive thinking helps James keep going even when work is hard. Take care of your body. Emma studies literature, and she drinks water, eats well, and exercises regularly. A healthy body helps Emma think clearly. Use weekends wisely. John studies law and he uses weekends to review what he learned during the week. He also prepares for the next week. Using weekends well makes John ready for new challenges. Be flexible, but consistent. Rachel studies psychology, and she sometimes changes her study plan if something important comes up. But she always studies every day. Flexibility helps Rachel manage unexpected events. Limit social media use. Daniel studies business, and he uses apps to block social media during study hours. This stops distractions and saves time. Take notes during classes. Sarah studies medicine, and writing notes helps her understand better. She reviews notes after class to remember the material. Set realistic expectations. Olivia studies economics, and she knows she cannot learn everything at once. She sets small goals and celebrates small wins. Use flashcards for quick review. Mark studies languages and he uses flashcards to remember vocabulary. Flashcards make review fast and easy. Join study groups if helpful. Anna studies history and her study group meets weekly. Talking with others helps Anna understand difficult topics. Stay organized. David studies computer science and he keeps his study space clean and materials in order. Organization saves time and reduces stress. Use online resources wisely. James studies business and he uses websites and videos to learn. He makes sure to use trusted sources. Balance work and rest. Emma studies literature and she knows rest is important. She makes time to relax and avoid burnout. Set deadlines for yourself. John studies law and he sets deadlines before the official ones. This helps John avoid last-minute work. Celebrate progress. Rachel studies psychology and she rewards herself when she finishes big tasks. Rewards keep her motivated. Plan for emergencies. Daniel studies medicine and he keeps some extra time in his schedule for unexpected work. Ask yourself why you study. Sarah studies economics, and remembering her reason helps her stay focused. Having a purpose is important. Try different study techniques. Olivia studies computer science and she tries reading, writing, and teaching others. Different methods help Olivia learn better. Write down distractions and try to remove them. Mark studies business and he noticed social media is a big distraction. He deletes some apps to stay focused. Avoid perfectionism. Anna studies psychology and she knows it is okay to make mistakes. Trying your best is enough. Practice time management daily. David studies law and he works on his skills every day. Practice leads to improvement. Learn from others. James studies engineering and he asks older students for advice. Learning from others helps James save time. Stay calm under pressure. Emma studies medicine and she practices deep breathing when stressed. Staying calm helps Emma think clearly. Use checklists. John studies economics and he checks off completed tasks. Checklists keep John organized. Focus on important tasks first. Rachel studies history and she does the hardest tasks first. This helps Rachel feel accomplished. Keep a positive attitude about time. Daniel studies computer science and he sees time as a friend, not an enemy. Try to enjoy your studies. Sarah studies literature and she finds joy in learning new things. Enjoying studies makes time fly. Build good habits slowly. Olivia studies business and she adds one good habit at a time. This keeps changes easy and lasting. Use breaks for exercise or fresh air. Mark studies psychology and he walks outside during breaks. Fresh air helps Mark refresh. Stay connected with family. Anna studies medicine and talking with family helps her relax and feel supported. Set clear boundaries. David studies law and he tells friends when he is busy. Boundaries help David focus. Use technology for reminders. James studies engineering and he sets phone alarms for tasks. Reminders help James stay on schedule. Stay motivated by thinking about your future. Emma studies economics and she remembers her goals every day. Make a daily plan. John studies history and he writes his plan every morning. Daily plans help John stay focused. Try not to compare yourself to others. Rachel studies psychology and she focuses on her own progress. Stay organized digitally. Daniel studies computer science and he keeps files and notes in folders on his computer. Practice saying no to distractions. Sarah studies medicine and she turns off social media when studying. Try to study at the same time every day. Olivia studies business and routine helps her brain get ready to work. Be patient with yourself. Mark studies literature and he knows good time management takes time. Use positive self-talk. Anna studies economics and she encourages herself when feeling tired. Take time to relax before sleep. David studies law and he reads a book before bed to calm his mind. Make studying a habit. James studies computer science and he studies a little every day. Keep your goals visible. Emma studies history and she writes, ask for feedback. John studies psychology and he asks teachers for advice to improve. Try to learn from mistakes. Rachel studies business and she thinks about what went wrong to do better next time. Use rewards carefully. Daniel studies medicine and he only rewards himself after important work. Remember that rest is part of time management. Sarah studies law and she takes days off to recharge. Stay curious. Olivia studies literature and she asks questions to stay interested. Try different environments. Mark studies engineering and he studies sometimes at home, sometimes at the library. Be kind to yourself. Anna studies psychology and she avoids negative thoughts when things go wrong. Use lists for short and long tasks. David studies history and he separates small and big tasks to plan better. Work on one task at a time. James studies business and he focuses fully on each task. Learn to estimate how long tasks take. Emma studies medicine and she keeps track of time spent on tasks. Try mindfulness. John studies computer science and he practices being present during study. Limit caffeine late in the day. Rachel studies law and avoids coffee after 3 p.m. to sleep better. Plan time for hobbies. Daniel studies economics and he schedules time to relax with hobbies. Stay flexible. Sarah studies literature and changes her plan if needed. Celebrate small wins every day. Olivia studies history, and she feels proud after finishing tasks. Avoid negative people who waste your time. Mark studies engineering, and he spends time with positive friends. Keep your study goals clear. Anna studies medicine, and she reminds herself why she studies. Try new ways to study. David studies psychology, and he experiments with flashcards, videos, and notes. Use calendars to track progress. James studies business, and he marks finished tasks. Build routines slowly. Emma studies law, and she adds one new habit every week. Set reminders for breaks. John studies computer science, and he takes breaks on time. Keep your study materials ready. Rachel studies history, and she organizes everything before studying. Try to sleep and wake up at the same time. Daniel studies economics, and he keeps a regular schedule. Practice gratitude. Sarah studies literature, and she thinks about good things every day. Focus on progress, not perfection. Olivia studies medicine, and she is happy with small improvements. Take care of your mental health. Mark studies psychology, and he talks to counselors when stressed. Ask questions in class. Anna studies law, and asking questions helps her understand faster. Keep your workspace comfortable. David studies business, and he adjusts chair and light. Stay hydrated. James studies history and drinks water often. Learn to adapt. Emma studies economics, and she changes plans if needed. Remember that time is limited. John studies computer science, and he uses time wisely. Think about what you want in life. Rachel studies medicine, and she plans her time to reach her dreams. Try to study with purpose. Daniel studies law, and he focuses on why he studies. Use breaks to relax your mind. Sarah studies psychology, and she listens to calm sounds. Keep your phone away during study. Olivia studies history, and she puts phone in another room. Try deep breathing if stressed. Mark studies business, and he breathes slowly to calm down. Practice regularly. Anna studies computer science, and she studies every day. Focus on one thing at a time. David studies literature, and he avoids multitasking. Learn from successful students. James studies medicine, and he follows their advice. Keep your goals in mind. Emma studies law, and she remembers why she works hard. Plan for fun, too. John studies psychology, and he schedules time to enjoy. Stay positive even when tired. Rachel studies business, and she keeps going. Be patient. Daniel studies economics, and he knows progress takes time. Use time management tools. Sarah studies history, and she uses apps to plan. Try to improve a little every day. Olivia studies computer science, and she works on skills daily. Keep learning. About time management. Mark studies medicine, and he reads books and articles. Stay organized. Anna studies law, and she keeps everything in order. Try to avoid distractions. David studies psychology, and he works in quiet places. Make studying a habit. James studies literature, and he studies every day at the same time. Stay focused on your goals. Emma studies business, and she works hard. Celebrate your achievements. John studies economics and he feels proud. Be consistent. Rachel studies history and she studies regularly. Stay motivated. Daniel studies computer science and he reminds himself of goals. Try different strategies. Sarah studies medicine and she finds what works best. Take care of yourself. Olivia studies law and she sleeps well and eats healthy. Practice good time management. Mark studies business and he plans and works. Thanks for staying with me today on this episode of the English Talk Time podcast. I hope you enjoyed learning about how to sound more confident when speaking English. Confidence is something you can build step by step, just like learning new words or practicing grammar. If you speak a little every day, try new phrases, and keep going even when you make mistakes, you will see progress. The most important thing is not to be perfect, but to keep trying. Every small effort helps you improve. Remember, your voice matters. Don't be afraid to speak up, ask questions, and share your thoughts. You are learning, and learning takes time. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Confidence is not something you are born with. It's something you create through action and repetition. If you found this episode helpful, make sure to follow the podcast and share it with your friends who are also learning English. You can listen again and repeat the sentences to get better. Practice is the key to growth, and I'll be right here in the next episode, ready to help you learn more. Thanks for listening to the English Talk Time podcast. Keep practicing, stay positive, and speak with confidence. See you next time.